Hello, it's Sarah from myindielifeblog.net here. Hello, I would love to show you a social media scheduling tool that I actually really enjoy using, and it's called Recurpost. That's Recurpost. Recurpost. Recurpost is a really nice and simple way of not only getting your content together for your regular daily content, but also having a backup of content that you would like to go out again and again over a certain period of time. Now, this isn't something that you can actively do easily with some of the other social media schedulers that I have talked about, particularly in their free plan options, which is what we're talking about today, is the free plan option for Recurpost. But it's something that's quite interesting and I think can be quite useful depending on what type of small business that you have. So I'm going to start off by just showing you around and then showing you how to schedule one piece of content just to help you get started with Recurpost. But it's certainly something that I do recommend that you have a look at, and their prices for their paid plans aren't really too bad either. So do take a look at Recurpost. Okay, so once you log in and open an account with Recurpost, they will ask you, as most social schedulers do, to input and connect your social accounts. So right here on my social accounts screen, you can see that I have 3 of my social media channels connected. Now, as with all of the social media scheduling tools that I've covered so far here on the YouTube channel, you can only connect on this free plan to up to 3 of your social media sites. So make sure that you choose the 3 that you're most regularly using so that you can make the full use of this as your scheduler. Along the top here, you can see a multitude of tab options that give you different ways of looking at your content. And it also gives you an option for training here right at the end. They do have a good library of videos to help you through everything from creating your first social media scheduler to creating content library sort of folders and that kind of thing. So don't ever feel like you're not going to be able to find out how to do something, because if it isn't in the training section, the support section is really good. So I'm going to start right here by just showing you what my editorial calendar looks like. So this essentially is all the pieces of content that I've scheduled so far for the upcoming days and weeks. And you can view that either by looking at a specific channel, it will filter out specific channels, or it will filter out specific content libraries, which I'll show you more about later. So let's have a look at this one. So got nothing to view on that one. Let's have a look on blog. There should be something on there, I think. So there you can see all of the content due to go out on that one. And right at the bottom, you can also see your one-time posts. So if I say I wanted to choose something from Instagram and I wanted to see all of the one-time posts, then they will all show up as you scroll down. On my Twitter, what's quite interesting is Twitter for me, I have a mixture of not only the one-time posts, which I post out daily, so that will vary with content, but I also have a number of content libraries that funnel through to this channel. So let me press blog again there, and you'll see that both of those then show up. And what Recurpost will do for you quite nicely is it will differentiate between the different types of content that you've got going out. So you can see right down the bottom of each piece of content, not only the date and the times it's due to go out, but you can see whether it's a one-time post or whether it's one of the pieces of content that you've got in your content library. Now, your content library is where you're going to add all of those recurring posts. Let's have a look at Smart Queue. This is essentially a different way of looking at your editorial calendar because it will show you exactly what's happening for the rest of today or for the whole of the following day and so on. So you can see exactly how many pieces of content you're going out across all of your channels across the day. And again, you can filter by accounts if you want to, or by content libraries. I'm looking at this as a month view, but you can also have a look at a list view as well, which for me really is not too dissimilar to the editorial calendar, so I don't tend to use that. But Smart Queue is quite good at allowing you to see how the sort of time plan of your content is going out. So let me show you first of all how to add just a one-time piece of content to your editorial calendar. So I press the editorial calendar tab up top and then press this teal coloured button, create one-time post. That will take you through to a new page where you simply share the you select the channel where you would like your information to go out. I'm going to copy and paste the content that I've created in terms of text. What Recurpost will do is it will then try to look and see if there is some kind of preview image that they can post on your behalf. What I usually tend to do is I remove that link preview. What that does is it means I can then add my own media. On the free version of this package, you can only really attach an image or a GIF. So you can search for an image if you don't have one of your own. You can add a GIF if you don't have one of your own. I usually attach one of my own images. And after a while, what will happen is that will show up. Once that shows up, you can do a couple of other things down the bottom. So what I do like about this actually is that you can preview this post as it will go out on each of those channels. So as I've selected Instagram, let's see how that would look on Instagram. If I'm okay with that, I scroll down the page. Sometimes if I've got a long URL link, now I know URL links don't work on Instagram, but if I was posting to Twitter or Facebook in this instance, what I could do if that link was really long and I didn't want the whole thing to play out within my description, what I could do is I could shorten the link. Choose whichever you prefer. I shorten link, and what happens if you scroll up is that link has now become a shortened version, which can sometimes be a bit more visually beneficial to those people who read your content later on. You could also update, you could add this update to content libraries if you want it to recur later as well. So you can certainly do that. But for now, I'm going to leave it as is. So you can either choose to post now, right down the bottom with the teal button, or you can press the little up arrow. And what that does is that allows you then to select schedule. So you can select literally the date and time that you would like to go out. So let's pick something at random. If you don't want to select the perfect time for your post to go out, you can press auto schedule. Now, like most social media schedules, if you're auto posting, what they will do is they will select what they believe is the best time to post that content. So you can choose that if you prefer. I personally find that doesn't always work. You need to dive into a little bit more information about what's happening with your customers so that you know that you're posting it at exactly the right time where they're going to be online and viewing it. So let's say you've selected the right time and the right day, just press schedule. Now Recurpost will take a little time to upload your image, but once it does that, it will take you back to your editorial calendar page. If I've got Instagram selected, as I scroll down, I will be able to see that piece of content that I've just put into my library live there on the system waiting to go out. If I want to delete that, all I need to do is use those 3 buttons. I could press delete. I could edit the post. In this instance, let's press delete. And then it will disappear from your calendar. Okay, so that's really the basics of how to add a piece of content to Recurpost. So it's really nice, quick and easy. Let's have a look now at the content libraries, because I think this is actually quite interesting for you as a small business owner, because there are going to be certain pieces of content that you may want to go out over a certain period of time, or that you would like to go out regularly, say once a week, once every other week, telling somebody about, I don't know, the sale that you've got on, or the new product that you've got in your shop. So when you enter the content library, the first thing to note is that whilst you can have as many of these folders as you like, and you can do that by adding them under the teal button there that says add new library, is that Recurpost on the free plan will only allow you 100 pieces of content in your content library. So that doesn't include the one-off posts that you've added to your editorial calendar, but these are the 100 posts that you look to have go out and replicate and go out over a period of time. Now, not in all instances and on all channels is this an advisable thing to do, but it can be quite useful if, say, you have something that you like to talk about regularly with your audience. So I'm going to just select a blog, because I have this going out daily to my Twitter readers. So all of my content is added just by adding an update and going through the process that we went through before. What happens is the post that you add to this particular library will then sit in this library until you action the schedule for your content library and when that's going to go out. So I'll show you that in a moment. But what it does quite nicely is it shows you everything that's in that content library, and it tells you exactly what is due to go out next. So here you can see that this particular one is the next piece of content that's going out in my library. Now I can move these around just by picking them up and dropping them. And what that will do is it will make sure that the system recognizes that that's if you're moving a piece of content up, that you would like it to go out earlier in the rotation. You can move it back. You can edit these posts in exactly the same way. If you're posting to Twitter, the other thing it does is it shows you what's called variations. So if I just quickly press on Twitter variations, let me explain these a little bit more. So Twitter, in line with some new data protection laws established earlier in 2018, that they would like nobody to retweet exactly the same content every single time on their Twitter feed. So what Recurpost does, because there are plenty of businesses out there who do have posts where they would like that one piece of content to go out several times over a period of time, they created something called variations. Now you can auto-generate them, and these will auto-generate based on the URL given in the first version of your update, or you can add them manually. So you just press whichever is relevant, and then follow through the process. But once you've got your variations added, these will show up underneath. So once this first piece is posted on Twitter, the second and the third piece will then move up the ladder, so they will become the next versions of this one piece of content that Twitter allows you to post. So it's not dramatic changes that you have to make, but they do have to be different from the first. So it cannot be exactly the same wording. Usually I tend to change hashtags, but you can also change the wording as well if you want to. I think particularly if you were going to have multiple variations of a particular tweet, you probably want to change some of the wording as well, so that your customers and your Twitter followers don't get a bit bored of seeing what they feel is exactly the same thing. But that's how variations work, and that really, as I say, only really applies to Twitter. And Recurpost do explain what variations are and why you need to use them and when you need to use them here in this little link, and probably in the training section as well. So as I said, if you do feel stuck, there's usually some information on this site that will be able to help you. So I'll press go back. It will take us back to our library. Every time you see, if you're particularly posting to Twitter, if you see your variations go down to 0, that means that that content will no longer be going out to your Twitter feed. So if you know that you want to have, sort of only 5 variations go out over your given period, then you can make sure that you have enough in there. If I just press edit this one, what you can also see, particularly in your libraries, is yes, it's exactly the same format of how you add something, but you can use this section as well, which is really quite interesting because it means that you can plan some of your marketing ahead of time. So you can keep certain things as drafts, so they only go live after a certain date, which is great if you've got a new product launching soon. And it means you can stop recycling that content after a while as well. So if you do have that new product going out and you want to keep this piece of content as a draft until a week before that product goes live, and then you want to stop recycling it 1 or 2 weeks after that product has gone live in your shop, you can do that using that system. So it's really quite a nice, neat way of being able to sort of plan ahead and be a little bit more strategic with some of your marketing practices. So that's how the content library works. To make sure that that content actually goes out onto your platforms, what you need to do is you'll need to set up a schedule. Now, once you open this page, it will normally look like this, where everything is completely blank. But you can see here that I've got set up on my Twitter profile a number of different content libraries going out at different times on different days. And this is really quite useful for me because it means I'm controlling what Recurpost is posting on my behalf. Now, don't forget that these are only showing you the scheduled content going out from your content libraries. It's not showing you the content that you have going out as your one-time posts. That sits separately in your editorial calendar. So if you want to see what the day looks like as a whole, then I would recommend going to the editorial calendar or to the smart queue. So one of those first 2 tabs. But let's have a look at adding a new piece of content. I'm just going to delete this now. You can see it's quite easy to delete pieces of content that you no longer want to go out. But also what's quite nice is that you can also add new schedules quite easily as well, and that Recurpost always double checks, so you never, if you feel like you've pressed something by mistake, you can go back. Recurpost is quite good for that. So if you want to add a new schedule, go up here to the till button, press add new schedule, and then you can select the library along the left hand side. So I'm going to just re-add in that piece of content that I wanted to go out, that I deleted for purposes of this example. You can select the frequency, so if I want it to go out just once a month or several times a month, I could press that. So here is just a list of the days. So if you want it to go out, say on the 15th of every month, you could select that, or you could select daily. And then you can either select all by pressing the till button there, or you can deselect and select just the days that you want. Once you've got that done, all you need to do is select your time. So again, you can auto schedule for the best time if you want. If you have a number of pieces of content that are going to go out under the auto scheduling rule. They won't all go out at the same time. What Recurpost will do is it will select, say you have 3 pieces of content, it will select the 3 suitable times that those will go out, and one will be posted at one time, and so on and so on. Okay, so I'm going to choose time here. I'm going to select 8 p.m. because that's what I had it for originally. I'm going to select the channel that I want it to go out to, so again Twitter in this instant, and then you add time slot. What this does then is it shows you that added time slot here underneath, so you can just add as many new time slots as you want. You can delete again if there's something that you don't want to add, and then when you're ready, just go backwards to view your schedule, and you'll see that those that we earlier deleted have now shown up again because I've rescheduled them for the same time on the same days. So that's how that works. I think this is a really great tool, not only if you are running up to a new product launch, but it's also quite good if you're just wanting to promote, say, your newsletter and things like that. To send that out, sort of once a week or every other week is quite useful to the new people who are following your social media channels. So think about the types of content that you would like to recur on your behalf. And the other great thing about having recurring posts, as long as they're relevant content, it means that you don't have to sit there and think about the amount of content and create every single piece of new content to go out on your behalf each day. So it's a way of kind of saving yourself a huge amount of time. So that's the one thing I do really like about Recurpost. And as I say, you have access to this on their free account, and their paid accounts aren't really that expensive either. So do take a look at Recurpost. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. If you do need any more help using Recurpost, or with the idea of using a social media scheduler altogether, then drop a comment in underneath this video and I will pop along shortly to help you.